What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market and break down why Tesla's looking relatively strong right now compared to the markets and what's happening, at least with all these different levels. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offerings in just 2 weeks. Anyways, Tesla has jumped to new all-time highs after Mizuho has doubled their price targets to $515 a share. And then there's other analysts that remain very, very bullish, despite the fact that the Chinese sales did drop on a week-over-week basis. I went over the Chinese sales data in my previous video, and overall, this news is still trumping that. That's why Tesla remains very, very strong so far. So very awesome to see this. Many of the analysts are saying that they believe Tesla is going to be benefiting from a lot of different benefits when it comes to AI and such, despite the fact that there could be repeals to the US consumer EV tax credits. Despite that, they're still very optimistic for them, especially when it comes to battery storage and such. So I just wanted to call that out. I did not mention that in my morning video, that part of their analysis. Going into tomorrow, there's not much coming out in the morning, so the market might see a lot of like choppy price action. However, at 2 p.m. tomorrow, don't forget we have the Fed interest rate hike decision. They're not going to hike. They're going to most likely give us a 25 basis point cut. And then we have the FOMC reports during the press conference. That's when Jerome Powell is going to be giving his speech. I can't wait to see what Powell has to say. That's going to be very key for us. So, approaching this, just know that thus far, Tesla is very strong and it's near all-time highs. We broke to new all-time highs in the morning, hitting the 480s. We came back down, and now we're trying to retest 480 again. I did say in my earlier video that Tesla has the potential to try to break out towards the end of the day and try to push for 480 again. That's what happened so far. We're holding up very, very nicely, very, very well. So I do think 480 is a tough resistance, and we could see some shuffling here again. But ultimately, I think this still has the potential to try to surpass that to get to 490. And eventually, 500 is going to be the very big psychological level that Tesla's going for. We most definitely have the potential to reach that before the end of the year. Tesla's very strong, very, very bullish. I can't wait to see what else the future holds. We'll see if we close above 480. If we close above it, we could, once again, try to break past, the all-time high, make new all-time highs all over again. I think Tesla looks very, very strong so far. It's also greatly outperforming the market like SPY and the others. SPY did dip a bit only to get bought back up. If we look at SPY right now, you'll see that SPY is currently at about 603.8. It did dip a bit to about this support once again, but now we're seeing buyers defending it near 604. So if I look at this trend line I had drawn out like this is kind of showing us this pennant that SPY has been in. And there's buyers once again continuing to step in, defending it very, very nicely. So this is quite interesting. If we hold this going into tomorrow, we could attempt to rebound off this, try to fill that gap to 606. If not, if that move ends up failing, we want to see SPY lose 602. If that happens, there's going to be a risk of more downside. And this could be dumping all the way down to 600, if not 598. Now, for today, we're going to most likely try to hold the support. We're going to most likely still be in this range. But tomorrow could be the day we see this break in either direction. Will we break to new all-time highs with Jerome Powell pumping the markets, or will we get the big rug pull? I'll be watching that very closely. So just keep that in mind. That's what I'm seeing for now. On ES, it's the same thing essentially. This is starting to dip a little bit. We have this gap down here to fill. So I wonder, will we see a big rug pull going into tomorrow to fill that gap? And will that drag SPY down? So you want to be very careful when looking at that. There's a big dichotomy between SPY and ES right now as they are moving very differently. That's very rare. But in this occurrence, if ES does continue to dip, that could drag SPY down. So just keep that in mind. Nvidia is struggling to hold 130. We'll have to see if we could try to reclaim it tomorrow. We're going to likely shuffle near it, and there's a little bit of weakness that's developing. I want to see us try to reclaim that and get back above 132 to bounce. Otherwise, we're just going to see a continuation of the shuffling. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin is trying to push right now. We're on a very, very nice uptrend. I could be looking for an attempt to get back up to these highs. It's going to be very choppy for now, so it's not really doing a whole lot. For NQ, this is just like ES, looking a little bit weaker now. We'll have to see if the support holds around 22,250. Otherwise, we're at risk of dipping back down to fill that gap. For the QQQ, same setup basically. We're starting to dip a little bit. We could be retesting 531. It is looking a little bit weaker heading into FOMC, so just be very mindful of that. but we don't turn too bearish until we lose 531.5. If that fails us, there's going to be a bigger rug pull all the way down to 524. So please keep that in mind. We'll be watching that very closely. For Apple, Apple's very bullish. Could be looking for 254 as our target. It's doing a good job at holding up so far. The Russell is rejecting. Unfortunately, we were not able to hold above 231, so it remains bearish. We're looking for 230 as our target, then potentially down to 228 if that fails us. For Coin is looking more bearish. We have a head and shoulders like structure, so we could be dumping lower, all the way down towards these lower levels such as 308 or below. We also have this gap to fill, so we could be dumping closer to that. So there's a possibility we do dip a little bit lower on Coin, back down to like 310 or so, but it's very minor. Amazon was trying to break out. It was doing a good job at holding up. As long as we don't lose 229, we might just continue to shuffle within a 1 point range. But we'll see if 229 holds or not. For Meta is dipping right here. We could be retesting 612.5. We'll have to see what kind of reaction we get. There might be a small dip coming off the head and shoulders. Microsoft is looking more bullish. We're looking for 456 as our resistance. If that breaks, we could be breaking out more. And then last but not least, Google. We rejected off our 200 area. Now we're starting to dip here. So we could be on our way back down for essentially 195 and 193.5. So there might be a small dip coming off this bearish divergence. We were not able to crack past 200 that easily. And that's no surprise. It's a very psychological level. And there's a big sell wall over there. So we could be looking for a small dip on Google. Anyways, SPY is trying to get bought back up a bit right now. But like I said before, it's a little bit lackluster compared to stocks like Tesla. Tesla is holding up very well, and we could be approaching all-time highs. As long as we close above 480, there's going to be potential for this thing to try to push more going into tomorrow as we approach FOMC. So Tesla remains very strong, very, very bullish, could be breaking all-time highs, and new all-time highs are on the table. So don't forget about that as time goes on. I also want to mention that, as far as Tesla's moving, there's going to be another catalyst, which is going to be the FOMC report. Whatever the Fed does will affect Tesla and their sales and such. So it might have an effect on Tesla's volatility. I do expect that. If Jerome Powell gives us some kind of rug pull, and I'll go over more details about this in my next video, just keep in mind that could cause Tesla to dip a bit. And then if the same thing happens in the opposite direction, Powell could also pump the markets and that could pump Tesla. So it could go either way, depending on how the FOMC meeting ends up going. So with that being said, guys, make sure you watch the levels very closely that I called out. And I'm going to try to be back in just a couple of hours to give you guys one last update for the day and prepare you guys for FOMC. Until then, I just wish everyone the best. I hope you guys take care. And don't forget that the market's going to be basically open for the rest of this week. And this is going to be the last full week of the year. So don't forget about that. We'll have to see if that leads to more volume coming in or even more volatility. Next week, we're going to have Christmas. So the market's going to be open for a shorter period of time. And then we have New Year's. So the whole year is about to end and time just, it just flies like crazy sometimes. So with that being said, I'll see you guys very soon. I'll be talking about FOMC in my next video. And until then, I just wish you all the best. Thank you for listening and peace out.